I can crack my lower back just sitting up. Got those
Yeah,
back.
I could do that too. Don't have that crack in me right now. Are you one of those kids who turns around in
No,
class?
I literally just sit like this.
Have you seen that meme where it's the kid turning around?
No,
No, clearly you haven't.
no.
Yeah, that's definitely a special meme for the weird side of Twitter for me, but you might not be on that side. All right. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Waterboy Podcast. Today is episode number 68. We're very close to the
Very close.
very special Ohio State Michigan reaction episode number 69. That's on deck, everybody. We did not plan that out. Of course, that's how it lines up. That's just the Waterboy way. You guys know what we do. But very special episode today. A little bit of a different setup. Second half of this episode, it's going to be Grant versus Michigan men. So I've been talking this episode up for months now. I've been planning it. It's been in the books, been going over it for a long time. So second half of this episode will be Grant versus Michigan men. I'll be fighting my Michigan friends who go to Michigan, and I'll be taking them on 1v2. Maybe Everett's on my side. I'd prefer, if you're a healthy median, I want to be
Mediator.
1v2.
That's
Yeah,
kind
mediator.
of what's gonna have to happen here. Don't know.
Yeah.
Well, actually, at least they're not Michigan State fans, because then it might get physical.
Interesting, kind of interesting news. The Cardinals just fired their offensive line coach and run game coordinator after an incident in Mexico City. That's great news for Chargers fans because we're taking on the Cardinals next week.
Yeah.
So just something to think about. Just something to think about, Everett.
But before we get into the deep part of this episode,
like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Big red button below. Click it. Subscribe. 97% of viewers not subscribed. That's not okay. Okay? Not okay. All right? Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Help your water boys out. Okay.
I know you have a YouTube account. Everybody got
I know all of you do.
I know you've been looking at it.
Every single one of you has a Gmail or a Google account, okay? Don't lie to me. I know you do. So, all right. With that being said, all right, let's get into this shit. Okay. Everett. Do you want to start off with Tulane, Cincinnati? We're starting off with college football.
Nope, we're not. No, we're not. We're starting off with NFL curveball for the Michigan men episode. We're starting off with the NFL.
So it's a nice little transition into it.
Nice little transition.
We're going to start with Tulane, Cincinnati immediately. College football. But okay, NFL picks. Everett. Fun little week. Well, I guess not really fun week, but I still
not really fun for us.
Helping the overall record. But Everett beat me out this week. Went 10-4, 9-5 on the week. I went 8-6. Everett beat me out. My overall record's now at 96-68.
I am 90-74. Pulling closer every week.
Yeah, no, I mean, you've slowly over the last 2 weeks slightly bridged that gap.
I'm getting into the swing of things now.
Yeah, getting into the swing of things.
Might be fades, but my picks per week is starting to pick up.
No, yeah. So best part about Thanksgiving week, no teams on bye. That's the best part about Thanksgiving week. No teams on bye. It's a full Sunday slate, even though there's 3 games on Thanksgiving. So it's fucking amazing. All right. Just going to go over everything. All right. Bills at Lions, Giants at Cowboys, Patriots at Vikings. That's what you're getting on Thanksgiving. Got the staples, Lions, Cowboys, of course. Vikings. Now, that last Thanksgiving, like Lions, Cowboys always play. Is the last one just an NFC North team? Because I always feel like the Vikings don't play every year Thanksgiving, right?
No, we normally don't. And it's been like Lions versus Vikings before.
I feel like it's either Vikings or Packers or the other team.
The Cowboys and the Lions play literally every year. They are every year.
Thanksgiving.
The amount of times I've seen like the Thanksgiving like turkey leg set up on Ford Field in Detroit is like
it's a staple.
It's a staple.
And it's like Matthew Stafford gets superpowers on Thanksgiving. Like, that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I think that last game is kind of randomized, although I do know the Vikings and or the Packers do play it pretty frequently. But the Patriots also have a tendency to play it. So just a little interesting. I don't really know how that last game.
I don't know. I just feel like it's always Lions, Cowboys. And that last one, I just feel like they just
I think it's just like an NFC, AFC kind of situation.
I always feel like it's a North team. Like
Yeah,
maybe the
maybe.
Steelers get a game on Thanksgiving. I don't know. I feel like it's always NFC though. Like, I mean, we have some cross AFC NFC matchups, but I always feel like it's NFC based for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, my quick little comment. But those are the Thanksgiving games. Okay. Sunday games got a full slate. Okay. Bucks at Browns, Bengals at Titans, Texans at Dolphins, Bears at Jets, Falcons at Commies, Broncos at Panthers, Ravens at Jags, bolt the fuck up, Chargers at Cardinals, Raiders at Seahawks, Rams at Chiefs, Saints at Niners, Packers at Eagles Sunday night, and then Steelers at Colts Monday night, Jeff Saturday in prime time. Everyone, the whole world watching. So, okay. Picks right away.
Yep.
Okay. So I got Bills, Cowboys, Vikings, all favorites. Wow. So fun, Grant. Bucks, Titans, Dolphins, Jets, Falcons, Broncos. Hate that one. Ravens, Chargers, Seahawks, Chiefs, Niners, but I feel weird about that one. Packers, Colts.
Okay. Now keep in mind my picks will be a little bit out of order, I think. I'll try to keep them in order.
Just say the Vikings last for the Thanksgiving games, and then it'll be in order.
Okay. First and foremost, I will just say my game of the week. I have two, but one of them Bills and Lions, and
I have a game of the week and then a very weird feeling game of the week. But
that's my very weird feeling game of the week is Bills Lions, but I'll explain that later. So here's my winners. Bills, Cowboys, Vikings, Bucks, Bengals, Dolphins, Jets, Commanders, Broncos, Jaguars, Chargers, Seahawks, Chiefs, 49ers, Packers, Jeff Saturday, and the boys.
So I'm kind of surprised you also went with the Packers pick, but this year,
go Pack, go.
Eagles are enemy number one for you, not the Packers. So it's a very weird scenario for you, Everett, where you're actually rooting for fucking the boogeyman, Aaron Rodgers. So
he comes out. That's a primetime game right there. That is Sunday night. Sunday night. You know what?
Nobody's going to be doing shit on Sunday after Thanksgiving. Everyone's going to still be hungover from turkey. So, like,
yes, that's what they'll be hungover from.
Yep. Nope. Just turkey.
Just turkey.
Good boys. So, yeah. Okay, Everett. Let's start off with your weird game of the week. We've got to go over the Thanksgiving games. Thanksgiving special, by the way. Forgot to mention that.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving,
everybody. I hope that you're playing this during your dinners. Let the whole fucking family hear.
You know what?
Sorry for the kids for that F-bomb. I'll keep it on the low further on the episode.
No, you won't. No, I
definitely won't, especially for the Michigan portion of the episode. But
this is one thing I also would just say. I know a lot of people who are religious do prayers before your Thanksgiving meals. Just
turn on the Water
Boys. Just include the Water Boys.
We're thankful. You know what? I'm not going to lead a prayer. I'm not going to lead a prayer. For the sake of the viewers, I will not lead a prayer. But
we're thankful for the Waterboy podcast.
Your weird feeling game of the week. Bills at Lions, 9.5 point spread for the Bills, but we're gonna find out if Jared Goff gets the Matthew Stafford Thanksgiving superpowers.
I'm not
gonna
have
to find out.
Hammer Lions spread. Hammer.
I kind of love the plus 9.5. Now this is the thing. Okay, last 3 weeks, Lions have gone up and the Bills have gone down. Okay, so you got to keep that in mind.
So
keep that in the back of the bank.
We're all riding the absolute low that was the snow game, the 6-foot snow game being taken away from us. The Bills are playing back-to-back games in Detroit, by the way.
Yep.
Keep that in mind.
You gotta think about that.
Gotta think about that.
Now, wait. Did the Bills got to use the Lions home locker room last week, didn't they? They planted cameras in there. So okay, we got to think about this. They definitely spiked that room with fucking mics and cameras and shit. 100%. 100%, dude. They pulled a Josh McDaniels on that. 100%, dude. Like, and especially with the way the Bills are trending right now, they definitely need this edge. They cannot lose the first game on Thanksgiving. They cannot be the first loser of the week. Okay, they can't. So
I mean,
they definitely spiked that room.
It's not not a
That's the shit you
possibility.
get at the Waterboy Pod. They're like, those are the deep dive analytics
Deep
you get
dive
here.
analytics, Waterboy
They
analytics.
definitely spiked that room 100%.
But look, what I will also say is
I still like the Lions spread though.
the Lions are undefeated since Peyton Manning, voodoo, like uncursed Ford Field with sage and a bourbon bathtub a couple weeks ago. The Lions have looked great. And it's kind of surprising me that with the Bills not looking good. I just feel like the Lions always come out whenever it's a hard team to play, whenever it's a good team, they come out and they play well against those teams, and they make it really competitive. And for whatever reason, the Lions just like get the wrath of God in them.
And
on
Jameson Williams might be back.
He's not. He won't be back until like at least next week.
But I mean, hey. Let's just say he's back. Screw it. Waterboy report. I mean, Jameson Williams is back this week. Now that 9.5 looks tasty.
I'm just saying the Lions always look good on Thanksgiving. They always pull off a phenomenal win versus a team you had zero clue that would be able to lose that game. This is one of those situations. It happens every single year with the Lions. The Lions almost always. I'm actually curious. Start talking while I'm fact checking something real quick.
Yeah, I know Everett's about to talk up the Lions. I just want to talk about Jameson Williams for a second. If this man actually made his debut on Thanksgiving and the world just became aware, well, I mean, everyone already knows about JMO, but for, I don't know, let's say some people who really don't follow college football became aware of Jameson Williams on Thanksgiving, that'd be my dream as an Ohio State fan. Now, I know JMO doesn't really claim us anymore, but I still love and support Jameson Williams for the rest of my life. My favorite player at Ohio State when he was there. My favorite player. But yeah, Everett's still fact checking. Thought he would have got it by then. So
I did too, but
I'm going to slightly creep ahead and talk a little bit about Cowboys Giants. The 9-point spread, I feel like, is a little bit disrespectful to the Giants. And I kind of feel like Vegas is begging you to take Giants +9. So Cowboys -9 is a lock. That's just how I'm thinking. That's how I see it. I wouldn't be surprised if Cowboys, they just bludgeon another team. Then everyone hops on the train for them. Then shit starts becoming the Cowboys again. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. Only thing though is, that pass rush go crazy. I mean, Daniel Jones might actually die on Thanksgiving.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm doing some
blown. It has been 3 minutes.
I'm doing a deep dive, man.
I don't know what the fuck he is looking at, so I'm actually gonna move on to
I'm concocting some shit. All right.
I'm actually just gonna move on to my game of the week. Okay.
No, hold on. Okay. All right. I think
we're just gonna edit this part out. Okay. All right.
No, I've got it now. We're good. I was checking the Lions' all-time record on Thanksgiving.
There's no way it was that hard to find.
I normally
that's one Google search.
That's what I thought too, but I went straight to StatMuse because normally they have all the random ass facts. So I looked it up and they didn't have it, and then I did a secondary check and found it. So the Lions are 37-42-2 all time on Thanksgiving Day.
I just found one saying they're 37-43-2.
So maybe
that was reported in 2019. So It's probably not even that.
Okay. Well, long story short, they have
but I don't care about that. I want to see what it's like in the last 15 years.
Yeah, I can't find that fact. I should have been more prepared.
That's the Waterboy analytics you get on this pod, baby. But keep going. So the Lions are 15-0 in their last 15 Thanksgiving games. Everett, with that stat,
are they actually?
No, but that's the Waterboy analytics. They're 15-0.
15 in the last
15 Thanksgiving games. Everett, now, Maker, go over this pick.
Detroit, I was basically saying how well Detroit plays on Thanksgiving because I always remember them playing well. And
this is a pure vibes pick. Pure vibes pick from me and Everett right here on the Lions spread. Is pretty much what I'm telling you guys. We have no evidence to back this up. But Lions.
I just think that I still think the Bills will win, but the Lions are coming in, and I think that they're going to play really well, and I think that that's a spread hammer. Anyways, I thought it was going to be a better stat line than that, so we can move on to the next game. It's fun.
I don't really want to talk about Giants, Cowboys. Okay, Patriots, Vikings, Everett. First thing that I want to make a quick comment on. Everybody, well, I guess for me on the West Coast, it'll be like 5 p.m. But for a lot of people, it'll be later. It'll be 8, 9, maybe 10 p.m. We'll see how long it takes. But
Yep.
Justin Jefferson is going to break Randy Moss's record for receiving yards in first 3 seasons for a wide receiver in this game. I guarantee they're going to make a big deal out of it 100% just because it's the last game on Thanksgiving. With that being said, the Vikings, this is a must-win game, morale, momentum-wise, in my opinion, just based off Jay Jettas breaking the record in this game. You guys need to win this game.
Look, I think that off of last week, the big problem right now is one, still down our starting tackle. They have Judon, right? Like that's going to be a problem. And we're still down a Caleb Evans still in concussion protocol from 2 weeks ago versus the Bills.
Who is your
corner? He's a corner. Okay. Andrew Booth Jr. hurt his knees or has knee soreness from last week's game. Don't know what's going on with him. Dalvin Tomlinson's limited in practice, but he's really big for the run game. And I know that the run game for the Patriots isn't great, but Ramondre Stevenson is still very
I think it's
lethal.
Pretty good.
I haven't been checking it as of late. I think Ramondre Stevenson is more like a pass.
Back always has a fuck ton of fantasy points every week.
Yeah, so I mean it's very critical to be able to scheme up against them, especially if the defensive players that are very important to this team are inactive. I think offensively though, there's going to be a much different presentation than we saw last week. I know Kevin O'Connell's been talking to Justin Jefferson all week about how the offense can improve. And the big thing there is getting the ball out faster. So expect more sweeps, expect more slants, expect more. Hopefully, I want to see Justin Jefferson be used out of the backfield more. Get Justin Jefferson the ball in unconventional ways. And that's the key. Like be getting him the ball the same way that Deebo Samuel's getting the ball. Don't run him like a running back like Deebo Samuel, but using him out of the backfield, out of the slot, that kind of thing. So, and manners in which wide receivers do not normally get the balls. And if you can do that, it's harder to scheme up against. You're getting the ball out faster, and you're going to be able to play differently than last week because obviously we saw last week didn't go well, even though Justin Jefferson was manhandling Trayvon Diggs the whole game.
I think take your wins where you can get them out.
I think that this is going to be a big game, like you said, for morale. If they lose this, the season could self-destruct. But I think that they're going to be angry from last week. You don't get embarrassed on national television like that and walk in the next week and just
another. Well, it wasn't a primetime game, but it was the game of the week last.
But it's still national television. Like you don't walk in the next week and just be like, you know what, everything's fine and dandy. Let's do the exact same thing we did last week. Fuck no.
No, exactly. But yeah, I like the Vikes in this game. I'm going so far to put it as must win for the team.
Yes, I can agree with that.
And so, part of me was thinking like, would the Patriots beat the Vikings in Minnesota? And I was thinking like, maybe with Darrisaw. But then I was like, wait, as much as people love to clown Kirk Cousins, the Patriots have a Mac Jones. So the quarterback position is clearly in advantage of the Vikings because they have a Mac fucking Jones. So got to keep that in mind too. So maybe you're watching. It'd be really great if people were watching the game right now. And I mean, for your sake, Vikings are blowing them out and hopefully my take's right. But also at the same time, it'd be fucking hilarious if the Patriots were shitting on the Vikings right now and Mac Jones was lighting them up. I didn't actually think it. I just thought maybe that'd be funny based off.
Better not turn our game on this week. If you turn our game on, we're losing.
Obviously I have to watch everything. I have to watch everything after it.
So we're gonna lose. Okay. Next game.
My game of the week. Okay, Bengals at Titans. I'm going with the Titans in this one. I feel Bengals are 1.5 point favorite as of Tuesday. Yes. I would assume that line's going to shift a little bit by the time the game starts. But
here's my big thing. I asked you this before we started recording, whether or not Jamar Chase will play, because I originally had the
regardless Titans, if he plays,
I originally had the Titans written down. Like I think that the Titans are a great football team. I think that obviously Derrick Henry changes the game. Treylon Burks being back makes a great difference in their passing game.
Don't even care about that.
But the
I
thing
could
is,
just see Sack City. I could just see Joe Burrow just being
the thing is if Jamar Chase is back, I think that looks great for the Bengals, and I will take them. That is my stipulation. I am taking the Bengals, and I will state it now for the record. If Jamar Chase plays, I'm taking the Bengals. If not,
I don't care. I don't care about injuries. I don't believe in injuries. Okay. I'm taking Titans no matter what, Jamar Chase or not. Give me the Titans. This is my game of the week. Happening early slate Sunday.
It's a big game for both of those teams in their conference.
Yeah, very big. A lot of division stipulations on the line. I don't fucking know the word. Lots of things on the line in that one. But yeah, that's my game of the week. I like the Titans in this one purely based off Titan culture. Literally just purely based off vibes. It's a vibes pick.
Okay.
Give me Vrabel.
My what the fuck game of the week though, by the way. What the fuck game of the week? Broncos at Panthers.
Okay.
Russell Wilson still has yet to throw more touchdown passes than he has bathrooms in his house.
Yeah, that's not a good number.
It is week 12. And he has not thrown more touchdown passes than bathrooms in his house. He has the same amount of bathrooms as his weeks of football played.
Yeah, no, not a good look. The Broncos offense, god awful. My thing though is Sam Darnold will be starting this game. The Panthers, their running game is like especially with Darnold starting now, like they're gonna have to lean on the running game. And as you learned with your Derrick Henry overprop, the Denver has a pretty fucking good run defense. So although Russell Wilson is atrocious, the Panthers are atrociouser. So I'm taking the Broncos.
You're taking the Broncos' shitty offense versus a okay average Panthers D, and you're taking the almost equally as horrific, but I guess a little bit better Panthers offense somehow.
I wouldn't say that with Darnold now.
I don't know. It's been they've been rotating Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and Phillip Walker. Those have been their starting quarterbacks.
PJ Walker.
Just if only Matt Corral had been playing this year, if only Matt Corral had gotten a chance, he might actually be the starting quarterback for the next 5 years.
Again, I kind of ride with Darnold because that's my guy. So shit. It's just like I think the Panthers are gonna have to like get something going with like.
I took the Broncos, but my God, this is the battle of shit.
Oh yeah,
it is literally
awful.
You know the meme of
those games where you won't even realize it's on if you're watching Red Zone. They won't even tune into that one. They'll never get in the Red Zone.
The video of the two dumpsters kind of racing each other down the street in the
of course. That's what this is. That's this game. Yeah.
Still don't know
our editor. Make a clip of that.
Huh?
I was talking to our editor. Make a clip of that. But yeah, you. But yeah, that game is totally up for fucks. Actually, I'm kind of with Darnold now. I'm still I don't change my picks, but I'm kind of with Darnold. Okay, this is my interesting. Keep your eye on. We're gonna learn a lot about fate and mystique with this game. Bears at Jets. The coin says the Bears win this game. I, for one, am supporting the coin, so I picked the Jets. Because I know if I picked the Bears, I would have jinxed the coin. So I'm picking the Jets for the sake of the coin. Bears are winning this game. Bears are winning this game. Okay, believe the coin.
Especially if Justin Fields is out, by the way, then they're even more likely to win.
Oh my God, the Bears are gonna win this game without Justin Fields. That's how bad the Jets are, and everyone's gonna be officially out on the Jets. And then they're going to go on a 5-game winning streak after this. That's what the coin says. I could just think of the storylines at the NFL. Oh my God, the NFL will have a field day with those storylines. After this week, everyone's going to be like, the Jets are the worst team of all time when they lose to a backup quarterback on the Bears. It's going to be amazing. And then they're going to win 5 straight ever, including beating your team.
unfortunately, but it has to
Like,
be done.
but it's the coin, Everett. Like,
It has to be
you
done.
cannot argue with the coin. You know, the coin's
Has
always
to be
right.
done.
But yeah, keep your
The
eyes on
coin
that
will be
game.
in Canton, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. No, that shit. Literally, there's nothing that the Jets did to do well this season. The coins make it to Canton. Okay, Everett, a pick that you made that kind of stuck out to me. You have the Jags over the Ravens.
Yes,
Explain
I do.
yourself.
So over the last couple of weeks, the Ravens have not substantially beaten the crap out of a team.
I've
They have
also was clowning the shit out of them earlier in the year, and now they're just 7-3.
they just like
So
they don't stand out to me on paper as being a phenomenal team. They don't stand out to me on paper as being a team that will beat out a team that isn't necessarily on their level. And
yeah, I just wish
seen,
they still had Flacco. Then I would have like trusted their offense a little more.
we've seen the Jaguars make games close, and you know, and we both know that the Jaguars kind of have been my sleeper team this year. I've
I
liked
feel
them.
like you've picked them every week,
I've
like
liked them
very low key.
I've liked them against stronger opponents for whatever reason. But if we look at these last couple of games, right? They played the Panthers last week, won 13-3. Like, yes, they only let 3 points up, but putting 13 points up against the Panthers, I'd say is not really expected. I would expect them to put more. Like, I still feel like that's a lot closer of a game than expected. They beat out the Saints
Coming
by
off a bye, also, you wouldn't expect that off a bye.
they beat out the Saints, but by not by a big margin. Barely beat the Bucks, barely beat the Browns, lost to the Giants, barely beat the Bengals, lost to the Bills. Like I think that it's the
You're
Jaguars
calling
are.
them frauds.
I think the Jaguars are due to win one of these games that they've taken to the powerhouses of the NFL. Doug Peterson's a great coach, and
All right. This is a
I just
vibes pick. I
there
love it.
always is a mid-season
I love
collapse for the
it.
Ravens. Every year there's a mid-season collapse for the Ravens, and they
I
still
love
make
it.
the playoffs and they lose in the playoffs, but they have a mid-season collapse every year. And
This is the vibes week of picks, and I love it. This is a vibes week. We are going purely off vibes, and I fuck with it hard, Everett. I love it. I love it. Okay. Okay. I like the reasoning there. I didn't really have much to say about Chargers Cardinals, but Cardinals run game coordinator O-line coach just got fired for an incident in Mexico City. So hey, Chargers run defense sucks balls, but the Cardinals just lost their O-line coach. So maybe some things work out for the Chargers. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, even though my Bolts fucking suck. Okay. Everett, my weird
let's
feeling.
do two more, then let's go
Yeah.
into college football, and we'll end it right going into Michigan men.
Okay, my weird feeling game of the week, Saints at 49ers. I think the Niners are going to win this game. I just feel very weird about a 9-point spread. I feel like the Niners could just be like, oh, the Saints fucking suck. Okay, we'll just show up. I don't know. I have no reason. This is a pure vibes pick.
If teams show up
Saints
and
+9.
if teams
I kind of like all the pluses today.
If teams show up and they just think they're gonna win, they normally lose. So I understand that, but also I think the Saints, people are kind of looking at them like after last week, being like, "Damn, maybe they are good." I still think that they suck. I'm just hoping that they win a couple so that the Eagles don't get a top 10 pick. But I think the 49ers still win this. I think it's interesting because they really haven't played high competition since they've gotten Christian McCaffrey. So I'm just interested to see.
I mean, my Chargers aren't competition, so
especially defensively. So it's gonna if Marshawn Lattimore, if most of their starters are back for the Saints, it'll be interesting because they do have a pretty good defense.
I'm purely strictly off vibes. I feel this.
But I think the 49ers are going to win this. The last game that I'm going to go over real quick, Packers and Eagles. We mentioned it beforehand.
Yeah, we both went Packers on this.
Both went Go Pack Go. This is the only time in my life I'll be cheering for you cheeseheads. But look, I think that the Colts almost beating out the Eagles last week. Really, they should have won that game had they not missed a field goal. I think is very should be noteworthy for the outlook of the Eagles rest of the season. I think that they're not fraudulent, but I think that they're not as good as a lot of people say. And if there's anybody who will come from nothing and beat a team when they're down, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers, just to prove it to the NFL, just to prove it to the fan base is that he's still good, that the Packers while not being great, can still beat good teams. I think that this is one of those situations, and it's on prime time. The Eagles have never really faced a primetime opponent that has been that basically just kills other teams on prime time, and that's what the Packers do. And obviously
Giving credit to the Packers. Okay,
coming off a
Everett.
loss last week after saying that they're back, but I mean, the fucking Commanders beat the Eagles. The Eagles almost lost to the Colts, should have lost to the Colts. Packers being next, I feel like the Eagles are starting to still take things for granted. They're walking in there just thinking that they're going to kill teams, kill the Packers. And I think that it's going to be reversed. And I think the Packers are going to win this one.
I'm also kind of going off vibes, and also the Eagles with like a downward trend. And I just kind of feel like everyone's just like, oh, the Eagles are going to beat the Packers suck. Oh, Eagles, easy. No, nothing is for certain in this league. Pure vibes pick once again. Packers, even though the Packers are 1-4 on the road, Eagles are 4-1. That actually makes me like the pick even more.
Mm-hmm.
Like that makes you like it even more. But yeah, pure vibes. Okay, college football time, Everett.
All right.
Do you want to talk about Tulane Cincy? You got any quick comments on that one?
You know, I said I'm not talking about Tulane the rest of the year. I made that statement.
Then we're talking about
one
Tulane.
thing that I will say.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Navy.
All right.
Thank you, Navy.
Yeah, did not speak about Tulane there. Okay. I just want to talk about USC Notre Dame, but before that, I just want to point out other than Tulane Cincinnati, of course, but we're not mentioning them. Because we're not mentioning them, the only other game that matters in terms of any type of conference championship implications are the Oregon games and Washington State games. Okay. If Oregon State beats Oregon and Washington beats Washington State, then Washington's in the Pac-12 championship.
I will say this. Well, no, because you made me think about it. The situation at hand is interesting because it's basically whoever wins this week between Tulane and Cincinnati. It's win and in, and you host
also on Friday. On Friday.
So we'll be traveling on Thanksgiving.
I think that's going to be conflicting with the.
It starts
the USA
earlier.
England game.
It starts a little bit earlier, but I think it does at the end.
Hey, but good for you. I won't be watching. Good for you. I won't be watching.
But it's on ABC.
Nah,
but the winner of that game will host the championship game. The loser might be out. And that's the situation we're in. And it really comes down to the rankings for the playoff committee that come out tonight. And it's going to be, there's a potential tiebreaker situation. If Tulane loses, Houston wins, then there's like a 3-way tiebreaker that might still have Tulane in because UCF lost to Navy last week, but it's all dependent on UCF falling out of the rankings when the rankings are released tonight. So just an interesting situation to take note of. Win and in, got to be 1-0 this week. So that's it.
That's what we're looking for. Okay, one game I want to go over deep dive. We got to go over it, of course, USC Notre Dame. So kind of interesting. Week 1, Ohio State playing Notre Dame. I had a lot to say to preview for that game. This Notre Dame team right now is way different than the team that lost to Marshall and Stanford earlier in the year. Okay. I also just want to point out there is an alternate reality out there where Notre Dame is 10-1 right now. And in my opinion, would have a really, really good shot at the college football playoff in an argument of getting in. Because they would have a win over Clemson, who will likely be the AC championship winner, and then over USC, who could be, and then their one loss would be to Ohio State, who might be the Big Ten champ. So just say.
I'm sorry. I just have to interlude in this because I think this might be a clip. This is going back to the NFL, and then we can get back to that. I forgot to say this.
We are jumping.
Two things. One, just an interesting factoid. Teams led by Kirk Cousins have never lost a Week 12 home game. His teams are 5-0 at home in Week 12. Interesting fun fact there.
Going on with the vibes once again. Vikings are a fucking lock.
Also, just want to shout out the Jets GM and just managerial team. These are the players selected after Zach Wilson at pick 2 in that draft. Trey Lance, Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Penei Sewell, J.C. Horn, Patrick Surtain II, Devonta Smith, Justin Fields, Micah Parsons, Rashawn Slater, and Elijah Vera Tucker. I don't think that the Jets could have fucked up more by picking Zach Wilson at 2. Every single player after him from picks 3 to 14 hits, bangers.
of course, I mean, you said it yourself. That's not a great look for Jets fans, and especially after Zach Wilson's comments, which I think the media said rubbed his teammates the wrong way. Yeah, that's one way to phrase it. That's
Definitely
definitely
one
one
way,
way.
especially after your head coach said that the entire issue was with the offense today.
Yeah, definitely
Okay.
one way
But
to look at
anyways,
it. But okay,
USC.
back to USC Notre Dame. Okay, so since Notre Dame's lost to Stanford, they have averaged 39.8 points per game over the last 5 games. Everett, fun little fact. Fun little fact. Notre Dame also, they don't pass the ball very well. They're a running team. When Notre Dame beat Clemson 35-14, their quarterback, Everett, went 9 for 17 with 85 passing yards.
Really?
So yeah, 85 passing yards, and they scored 35 points on Clemson, who has a very fucking good defense. So, gotta keep that in mind. Notre Dame, they could still score without passing. However, though, USC, Caleb Williams, they pass the ball pretty well, Everett. They're pretty good at throwing the ball. I think the college football world's aware of that by now. Or if you aren't, I don't know what you guys are doing. If USC goes down early, like they did last week, they have shown that they could still stay in games, get back in games, and score. If Notre Dame gets down early, I'm not sure. Well, they'll have to run the ball, and USC's run defense, I've been very critical of them. So kind of matches up. But if USC gets up by double digits, it might be game over. So I think USC has more pass to win this game than Notre Dame does. I think Notre Dame, they need to control the game, need to jump out to an early lead.
I also think this game comes down to who wants it more. I think it's one of those games. It's literally the winner will be who.
Yeah, no, I do also think that Notre Dame is very, very motivated and steamed up.
They are. They definitely are. But
I think this is a very tough task.
If I'm USC, well, one, you come into the situation where last week was an emotional win, and you know our rules about emotional wins.
Yeah.
Always lose the next week.
Yeah.
Every time. Vikings did it last week. Every fucking time. Lose the next week off emotional wins. With that said, though, let's say the prep right, throw it out the window. USC needs this one more than Notre Dame. Notre Dame might be angry, might want it, but USC, this is to go to the playoffs. This is for your quarterback to win the Heisman Trophy.
No, exactly.
Nothing means more than this game right now. Everything that you've worked for this season is on the line with this game versus Notre Dame USC.
No, yeah.
And if they lose, I'm blaming it on the emotional win last week. It's the rule that applies, but let's say they win.
Go. We got to build an excuse, boys.
They need this. I mean, they need it more.
No, yeah. Like if USC wins this game, we could talk a little playoff. We'll be going over the rankings in the Michigan versus Grant section in a second. But
we'll talk about that. Actually, I think we'll save that for that because
we'll see. But okay, just USC, they win this game, then they'll be likely playing Oregon unless the 2-game scenario and they play Washington. But regardless, that's also going to be another tough game. But they're going to have 3 ranked wins, big ranked wins down the stretch to end the year. They're 100% in the playoff if they win out. So
they win out. Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
And with that, the loser of Michigan, Ohio State
is out.
They're out.
Yeah.
Assuming TCU wins out. I think if TCU loses one game, out.
Yeah. I think USC would jump them. And I think maybe both get in though.
No, here's the situation.
Maybe both are good.
The only way
would Michigan get in over a 1-loss TCU?
I think so. I think the only way that Michigan, the loser of the Michigan Ohio State game,
as of right now, the committee thinks so,
is if TCU loses. I think if you have 2 1-loss teams, one's Michigan and one's TCU, I'm putting Michigan in over them. It's just it's all money.
Honest,
ratings.
It is all ratings. Like I also am pretty biased against Michigan here. I think TCU should deserve to get that last spot. I've actually been very impressed with them, with how they're playing. I think the Big 12 is actually a gauntlet to get through. I said that preseason. I thought everyone was going to kill each other out. I was going over all these teams' schedules. All of their October, November schedules are fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And the fact that TCU is still undefeated blows me away. And every week I picked against them and they just keep proving me wrong. So fuck, I'm respecting them now. But yeah, that's all I had on college football. We're not going to get rankings
But
out.
with that,
Yeah, quick little transition.
I present to you
a war.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a war between me and Michigan, Matt. Thanksgiving episode part 2, special coming out. You guys are welcome. All right, let's just start straight to it. Will, do you know your lifetime record against Ohio State? You too, Jeffrey. You guys know your lifetime record against Ohio State?
This is mean.
2-17?
No, come on. 2? Your program's not that bad, Jeff.
I think it's 4.
No, not that good. 3 wins. Okay.
3 wins,
now you're talking your guys up. 3
wins. 3
wins
wins
in your lifetime. 3 and 16. 7, 16, 3 and 16.
3 and 16.
All right. So I'm 16 and 3, which is pretty nice. Pretty nice to think about.
I was a student at the University of Michigan. What am I though?
Yeah, no. You guys both 1-0. Both 1-0.
Undefeated,
baby.
Which is kind of cute, but you know what? We're not here to talk about the 2020 year, which should have been the last game in Columbus. But last time Michigan went to Columbus, 2018, and that game before, kind of similar to the 2016 game, where I'll be honest, was a little bit bullshit, and maybe Michigan should have won that
2016 was bullshit.
100% bullshit. We should have won that. But 2018, walking into the game, I feel like I can confidently say all the Ohio State fans were hanging their head. They did not think they were going to win that game going into 2018.
No, I'll be honest, no. 2018, I was just as shocked as the world after that game when I saw what happened. This is the thing, though. Last year, I'll be honest, as a guy who hadn't lost to Michigan since 2011, going into last year, I was, of course, talking up my shit, talking up my smack.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys were responding to it, and I thought this was a classic 2018 situation all over again. Thought it's okay. Here's Michigan again, talking it up. And then, I'll be honest, you guys manhandled us into the dirt like it was nothing.
I will say, it looked like a manhandling.
It was a blizzard.
But
we couldn't have passed. So
let's not forget, it was a blizzard. And going into the fourth quarter, we were only up by 8. And then we scored again. Ohio State scores again. And then we score and we kind of seal the game 42-27. The score kind of seems like we routed you, and we did. We absolutely dominated y'all through the run game. Dominated. But it was still an 8-point game going into the fourth quarter. It was not complete domination on every side of the ball.
Okay, so I'll be honest. We were obviously texting back and forth that game, and by halftime, I already admitted defeat. Already texted you guys congrats, but you guys were still not 100% convinced yet. And I think that's the one thing about this rivalry that's kind of crazy, how no one's ever completely convinced on either side. You can drop out 5 hours before the game. I was like, there's no way we're losing. 1 hour into the game, I was like, holy shit, my world's over and done.
And
so this
we will never admit we're going to win the game until that clock hits 0, because, as you said, we're 3 and 16. Like, I've grown up just with a despicable college football franchise that has never been able to seal a game against Ohio State. So until that clock hits 0, that's when I believe it.
So, all right, you're making me feel pretty good about myself. And, we're in the 1v2 environment here. So thanks, Will, for making this nice and easy. But I'm going to start talking a little bit of shit. For this game, I think this is 2018 all over again. I know last year what happened. I think Michigan talked a lot of shit over the offseason. And I think that upset Ohio State a lot. Now, I know Ohio State has looked like a bunch of shit for the past month or 2, maybe even the whole season, you could say. But this Michigan game, I think, is different compared to how they treated it last year or looked at the game. Up to you to say differently, but I really think Michigan ramped it the fuck up against Ohio State recently, whereas Ohio State hasn't really ramped it up against Michigan. And I think that's flipped. But I'll let you guys say what you want.
Jeff, you want to go first there?
Yeah, I mean, as we were talking about, it's definitely been more of like a dominant, especially like going into last year, where I feel like Ohio State was just coming up off a bunch of pretty disappointing college football playoff losses. Ohio State was more single-mindedly focused on that college football playoff and wasn't really looking at the Michigan game as.
Yeah, I mean, we get clowned every weekend by the SEC saying, I mean,
So did we in
pretty
Miami.
funny.
It was
I'm
the
not
same
gonna lie,
thing.
but
Whereas Michigan was coming into that Ohio State game with that being our biggest game of the year, despite getting absolutely thumped by Georgia after that. That doesn't even matter since we just.
Hey, we won the second
regardless.
half. We won the
The
second
game
half
doesn't
of that
matter.
game. Don't forget, we won the second half of that game.
Hey,
When JJ played.
you see that's a slight. Okay, we're about to get to JJ in a second, but okay.
Okay,
Just in terms
here's
of-
what I have to say. This
Yeah.
this is not like 2018. 2018, we were like 5-point favorites against Ohio State. Y'all are 8.5-point favorites. You have been
Was Michigan
starting
5-point favorites that year?
5-point favorites in 2018, I believe.
I honestly don't even remember. Can't say.
8.5 this year. And y'all have been starting off slow against Iowa, Northwestern. But Stroud's the best quarterback in all of college football by far.
You think that?
I think it's
Yes.
You think he's better than Bryce?
Yes.
I have
Hopefully
actually
he doesn't
been
get the
saying,
flu this year, or he's a
I've
little
actually
sick,
been
whatever
saying for a
excuse you wanna
while that
come.
Bryce is better than CJ.
And listen
but-
to this. I have a crazy stat. Ohio State's opponents this year, granted, Big Ten's been weak. Michigan played the same schedule. They have been opponent ball carriers have been averaging less than 2 yards per carry against Ohio State. The only outlier is Wisconsin. They got like a garbage time, like explosive run.
Yeah,
Less than 2 yards per carry by Ohio State's defense. Michigan's defense also kind of has the edge statistically, but both of these defense are absolutely dominant. And it's going to come down to who has more explosive plays.
No, yeah, I was gonna say the whole year, or at least early in the season, a lot of people weren't giving Michigan any credit. In that first game against Maryland, I know you guys were pretty like, what the fuck is going on with this team? But I always thought like, okay, in those early games, you guys are playing cupcakes, yeah, but you're beating them 70-3 or whatever. Like, because you're beating them that big, that's impressive to me. And so this year, what? I think that you've had 2 games where you didn't win by double digits.
Okay. To preface these
Michigan's
games,
good as shit.
Michigan's good.
Yeah.
we're very good. And the 2 games where we faltered was Indiana, where our running back coach collapsed on the sideline. So granted, everybody's kind of shaken up from that. We bounced back in the second half. And then Illinois, where Blake Corum's hurt. So like, take away those 2 kind of like external factors, we dominated this season in a similar fashion to y'all, even though you had some slow starts.
No, yeah, I am also a big believer of last week. Both Michigan and Ohio State did not game plan for Illinois or Maryland. I'm not sure if they watched tape of Maryland and Illinois last week after what I saw. I literally don't think they did. It was kind of funny in the first half. I actually thought Michigan was going to steamroll Illinois last week, and I kind of expected Ohio State to play shitty. But when I saw both happen, I was like, oh, yeah, they were not practicing.
Yeah, not focused on
I think
that
Maryland's
week whatsoever.
was sneaky.
Maryland's good.
Maryland's a good offense.
Yeah.
Little
Tua's little brother's
Young
good.
Mini Tua?
can ball.
What's Talia? He's a
Talia?
solid quarterback.
Like, I mean, overall, one thing that we can all agree on, the Big Ten's pretty lacking this year. Maybe we can slightly agree on something here. I think Ohio State fans might be a little more inclined to say this, but I think Penn State's a lot better than most people think.
Oh, yeah.
And I
Penn
think-
State's very good.
I think those wins for Ohio State, Michigan were big wins.
Big
And,
wins.
Like,
Next year, they're going to be a team. They're going to be a force. They have Drew Aller and Singleton, 2 5-star recruits who have been top of their class. They're going to be a very good team next year.
yeah, I also just want to say real
quarterback.
quick about the Michigan schedule. When Michigan scheduled a bunch of cupcakes, my first reaction was, well, the big people shitting on it were SEC fans, of course.
Yep.
And I was like, Alabama played Austin P last week. All right, shut up, okay? I don't want to hear SEC fans coming out here like trying to shit talk out of conference schedules when you guys literally like Alabama is like pretty much played the Citadel every year in November, like until this year when they played Austin P.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear that. But okay, JJ McCarthy time. Preseason, I was a really big thinker that JJ was definitely the guy over Cade, and he's the guy who could take the offense to the next step. But you guys have had some different opinions on that. Will, I know you got some strong thoughts. I'll let you start.
Yeah, this all kind of started. I've been a JJ fan. I think he's a better quarterback than Cade. He has a lot of versatility. He can stretch the field vertically and then also move with his legs. But then as soon as I was at it, what game was it where Cade came in and he threw a pick and everybody started booing him? You cannot whatsoever boo Cade McNamara. He won the Big Ten and he beat Ohio State. That is all you have to do as a Michigan quarterback. Those are your two jobs. You did that. You are eternalized in Michigan. You do not get booed. And that's why I kind of like got some disdain for JJ. And then he has not developed whatsoever the entire season. Michigan is where quarterbacks go to die. We have not had a good quarterback in my lifetime. We had Denard Robinson and Devin Gardner, not quarterbacks. Really not quarterbacks. Did any of them play quarterback in the NFL?
Patterson, no. What about
Shea Patterson? Not a good quarterback.
Shea, he would have won the Heisman if Harbaugh let him call plays, though.
And Harbaugh is a quarterback himself. It is absolutely ridiculous that we have a head coach who cannot develop quarterbacks. And JJ, I'm not saying this isn't JJ's fault because it is. He's been misreading the RPO all year. He's been missing long balls. He just hasn't developed whatsoever.
Has one of the worst like medium deep ball throwers I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's really bad.
He will miss wide.
And of course, we had to bring up
a lot. Ronnie Bell is another player that I just really feel like hasn't stepped up as well as he should have this year on offense.
What about the receivers?
Wide receiving core. Andrew Anthony had that drop last year. Ronnie is still Ronnie.
Last week.
Yeah. Roman Wilson, Cornelius Johnson, none of them have had like big impacts on our game. It's just been big explosive running plays. And we also said this last year. Everybody was saying this last year. They're just going to stack the box. They're going to put 7 or 8 in the box and make Cade throw. And we didn't have to throw. We just ran it down your throats.
That's the thing.
But you have a better defense this year.
Yeah. So that's another thing I want to say. So last year, I was a very, very false blind believer thinking that Ohio State was about to manhandle Michigan again. And actually, after the first drive, I was like, oh shit, we actually cannot stop a run at all. Every single run was going 6 yards at the minimum. This year, though, I still have my concerns, still have some doubts, but overall, it's just way different. And I'm kind of under the impression that Ohio State might put like 15 players in the box and just be like, you have to throw. Like, you literally have to throw to win. I wouldn't be surprised. Now, obviously, I'm exaggerating, but like 8 in the box every single play.
JJ had his worst game of the year last week, especially just that last drive that we did end up winning on and getting a game-winning field goal. He missed one throw. Will and I were watching together. It was a 5-yard out route that he missed.
It's these rub routes. I want to talk about these rub routes.
A walk-in touchdown. A 5-yard out route
to the tight end, right?
To the tight end.
On third down.
No one was in his vicinity.
Yeah.
He missed this simple throw that most people can make with their opposite hands.
Yeah, I swear. I was
it wasn't even catchable.
JJ gets so excited, but I want to talk about these rub routes or these pick routes. So we haven't really shown our like offensive passing schemes all year because we haven't had to. We dominated the ground. And then Illinois backed us into a corner, and all we could do were these stupid pick routes, these rub routes, where one receiver comes by.
Yeah.
And you can't pick the other cornerback, but if you rub against him in transition, it's basically a pick, and then the tight end rolls out, your QB rolls out, and you dump it off. And we basically had to do that like 6 times to get down the field. It was pretty atrocious. That was the only way we could
that
pick up
rub route on that last 4th down.
It's the only way we were able to get our guys open against like simple man coverage and like some zone schemes. It was really embarrassing.
Not like a defensive stalwart team.
Yeah. So JJ's going to have to hit his throws, and we're also going to need our big explosive runs.
I do think all year Donovan Edwards was like one of the guys I was looking at because he was linked with Ohio State in the recruiting battle. It was between Ohio State and Michigan. Goes Michigan last second. I know for a fact that Donovan Edwards hates Ohio State with his life. So for me, I thought him sitting out next week, I thought it was definitely precaution. Like, he needs to play in the Ohio State game. I'm not sure how banged up he was overall, but with Corum, definitely, I mean, there's no way he's going to be 100%. What are your thoughts on explosive plays with that running back room situation?
I mean, these two guys are absolute athletes. Corum's 5'8", 215. Donovan Edwards is 6'2", 210 with incredible route running skills. They both have the explosiveness. It's just whether they're healthy enough to be explosive against athletes we have not seen before. I guarantee you, if you went back and backtracked the amount of 5-star athletes that we have played in our season in these 11 games on defense, it would maybe be 2 or 3. Ohio State probably has 10 4 or 5 stars that are just as athletic as Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards. So for them to be explosive, they need to be healthy. Yeah. And I don't know if that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, the number one difference between this year and last year, obviously, our defense is not as good as last year. Like, you can't replicate the one.
No, yeah, obviously, Hudson,
Jackson Hill.
So you're losing a lot of big guys.
Our offense this year, though, coming into before these injuries, I would argue was more explosive and better than last year's offense.
I still think Michigan best O-line in the country.
Best O-line in the country. JJ, when he's on, gives our offense a way higher ceiling than it did with Cade. With these injuries, though, and if we don't have, our offense is not as good as last year. We need them to be healthy to even stand a fighting chance in this game. And that's why I do think the spread is that high, because I think our offense really got exposed without those 3 guys last week. We didn't have those 3 weeks. Our offense looked horrendous. JJ looked horrendous. And I think our offense is very predicated around those 3 guys. And it's going to be hard.
I will say our defense, statistically, we did play the easiest. I think it was like one of the easiest FBS 4 games like ever, like strength of schedule wise. But our defense statistically is just as good, if not better, than last year. We're holding people to less than 3 yards per carry, 5 yards per attempt passing, like 11, 12 points per game. Like, we've been dominant, and I think we're going to be able to stop. I wouldn't say stop, but slow down Ohio State's offense if we can stop Stroud and Marvin Harrison.
So, I mean, in my opinion, when I look at Ohio State's offense, every receiver not named Marvin Harrison, or at least recently, has played like absolute shit. Okay. So Emeka's the 2, Julian Fleming's the 3. Both were 5-star recruits. Julian Fleming's the number 3 player in the class. And this guy literally last week got sat down on the bench by a Maryland DB after a play, and no fight back. He literally got disrespected in his fucking face, 0 response. And that's the shit I see out of my wide receiver 3. Bro, sit the fuck back down, bro. Stay on the bench. What the hell did I see last weekend? But literally, Marv is the only dog out there. Emeka actually, like, I don't know why. He forgot how to catch the ball over the last month. But I actually think if you're Michigan, literally double team Marvin every single play.
Absolutely.
He actually is him. But everyone else, I actually think you'll lock down every other receiver. I think Michigan last year, one thing I was really impressed with is how they were in Garrett and Olave and Jackson Smith's face the whole game, press every play. They weren't afraid of those receivers.
I forgot how insane that wide receiver group was last year.
Actually,
Jackson Smith, Najigba, Garrett Wilson,
and Olave.
Absolutely
the fact
insane.
that Ohio State didn't win last year is just
absolutely insane.
You got to know how mind blown I was after that shit.
Yeah, absolutely insane.
I mean,
but what we did is those receivers get a lot of respect throughout their season, understandably so. And so corners play 5, 7, 10 yards off the line of scrimmage, which gives them so much room to operate. If we're able to play some sort of man press coverage where we can get in their face and be physical, and our safeties are quick enough to cover them when they do get beat, we might have a chance. Otherwise, we're just going to have to drop back in zone and take some sort of coverage jacks against Stroud. That's the only way I see this going.
Who's this big I really don't know this guy's name, but I've heard of like one pass rusher on Michigan.
Mike Morris.
Is he the guy? Is he at number 90?
Yeah, Mike Morris.
Okay, so
he's been our rock, absolute unit.
What are your thoughts on the pass rush overall? Because in my opinion, like I mean, the numbers tell you that like CJ's really good under pressure, but like in big moments when I see CJ like really under pressure, that's when I see him literally crap down his legs. So for me, that's what terrifies me. Like Hutchinson last year in CJ's face, terrifying. Do you guys think you can repeat that again this year? No?
No, I mean you
Mike
can't.
Mike Morris
Or
is
any
not
type of like
Aiden Hutchinson.
pressure on the
No.
on edges, like
Yes.
Mike Morris,
Yes, we get
We
pressure.
will-
I mean, it's not
not like a
Hutchinson is
game
jobber.
breaker. I get that. The thing
I
is,
think
I'd
we
argue
will
Ohio
be able
State
to
doesn't-
generate significant pressure on the quarterback. It's just not as explosive and powerful as Hutchinson. He's absolutely insane. He's still dominating in the NFL. So for him to line up, that Twitter video I'm talking about, where that Ohio State tackle was like begging him on. He's like 320 pounds, 6'7", 5-star recruit, and Hutchinson just absolutely dominates him. We don't have that this year, but we are pretty deep in our front seven, and I think we'll be able to get pressure on Stroud for sure.
I really think that Ohio State can really shoot themselves in the foot depending on who they play at running back. Last week, when Trevion Henderson was in, I don't know what it is. I'm no running back guru, but this man it just seemed like he was trying to score a touchdown every play, wouldn't take his 4 yards, try to bounce it outside, try to hit the home run. Then they put in a true freshman, Dallin Hayden, and this guy just takes his 5 yards every time, finish the game with over 100 yards or something like that. I think Ohio State with their running back situation, their main guy, Mayan, really banged up. I don't really think he won't be 100% either.
Yeah, who's
Trevion
playing? Who's healthy?
Dallin Hayden, this true freshman running back, is the most healthy running back ready. Mayan hasn't played for a week, and he played 2 weeks ago, got hurt in the second quarter. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. He got carted off in that game, so you tell me if he's healthy. And Trevion last week got hurt in the second quarter also. So it's been just like a revolving door at running back for Ohio State.
Right, but I feel like the difference here for Ohio State is running isn't your offense. Your offense is CJ Stroud and Marvin Harrison. For us, our offense is Blake Corum and it is Don Edwards. So I feel like your running back tools are a little more interchangeable because they're less essential to like your offense functioning at the high.
I do think though the first step to just like getting a big lead on Ohio State, like what happened, I'd consider it a lead early on Ohio State last year, is every single run was 1 yard, negative 1 yard. It's always 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9, and then it's 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. CJ has to throw and Hutch is in his face.
That was the difference last year. It's like we would get our 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3 versus you guys had your 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8.
It was literally the whole game. Like every single second down for Michigan.
That completely opens up the playbook because if it's 2nd and short, you have the option of beating down the other team with another run and keeping time of possession and the clock running.
Yeah.
Or you can take a shot deep. Like it opens up the whole playbook. But 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9, you're a little more limited in those longer downs.
Yeah. So, okay, we're going to go just 10 more minutes on this. I don't have a glaring question on my mind right now, but it'll definitely pop up. Is there anything that you guys want to specifically bring up that we didn't just go over?
I want to talk about the Heisman race here.
Okay. So I was saying last week, before the USC-UCLA game, I was really under the impression, and the Blake Corum injury scare, that the winner of Ohio State Michigan's winning the Heisman. I was saying
that's what I thought last year.
I was saying that this Ohio State Michigan game will be so monumental and important, like in this rivalry, that first, it's the second time it's been 2 undefeated ever in the final week of the season. Second time since 2006, Ohio State Michigan. And also, they have the Heisman frontrunners. Well, Caleb Williams just entered it. But I really thought the winner of this is going to the College Football Playoff and winning a Heisman. Like, that's what I thought this game, that's how big the stakes could be. I'll be honest, Caleb Williams
maybe
the chat. But if Notre Dame...
I just pulled up the live odds. Guess the odds for Caleb Williams, Stroud, and Corum.
I'm pretty sure I saw that Caleb's the favorite.
Jeff, what do you got?
CJ.
I think I saw it was like
Favorite.
Caleb minus 140. But
Jeff, what do you got? Give me the odds.
Like specifically or the order?
Specifically.
CJ minus 150. Caleb plus 350. And then Corum plus 500. I don't think they're going to give it to Corum at all.
So Caleb is now anywhere from minus 130 to plus 100. CJ anywhere from plus 110 to minus 110. So those two are basically head to head. Corum plus 1500 to plus 2500. Yeah. He's basically out of this race unless he puts up 500 yards over the next two games, Big Ten championship and this Ohio State game.
I don't know. Like Corum's not getting. He had 3 weeks ago. He had already
6 touchdowns.
The rushing. Like this isn't even just like bias. Obviously, it's a biased Michigan fan. But he had surpassed the Heisman seasons from Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry season, he was on pace with Derrick Henry.
No, I think he already surpassed Derrick Henry season.
I wouldn't be surprised if he passed it. But
No, he did not surpass Derrick. Derrick Henry that season had insane stat lines. Insane. I'll read you this, but I think Corum, we need to dominate Ohio State. Corum needs to dominate. We go to the Big Ten championship and he dominates. Otherwise, I personally think USC is going to blow it at some point.
Yeah, also one thing that I really hate about Heisman voters is that I think they say 70 to 80% of Heisman votes are submitted before conference championship week.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that in mind, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people vote for fucking Hendon Hooker already. But literally, I would not be surprised. Just based on how that committee works, they don't care. They'd literally just submit it on the story.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, Michigan beating Ohio State again in Columbus, that's a story. That's a story they can rock with.
I think that's hard with Corum is there's a lot.
I think it's a long shot
that
for sure,
objectively don't even think Corum's the best running back in college football right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those people, but I mean, Bijan Robinson's pretty fucking good at football. I'm just thinking NFL, who is, not a Najee Harris, who's going to be a current Saquon, a Derrick Henry, I'm not talking about.
And Corum is 5'8", 5'9". He's not a big dude.
Austin Eckler, Corum.
Corum's going to be a fantasy.
No. I personally think this might be a hot take, but I personally think Donovan Edwards might be a better running back than Blake Corum.
I can totally see that.
I personally am
so good.
Donovan Edwards is 6'2", 210. He's absolutely massive. He's so athletic, and he could be a starting receiver on any SEC team.
Yes, that's what I think that was missing so much last week for JJ. JJ goes to Donovan so much in the.
I also think they got a connection, same recruiting class. I think there's just a little bit of a connection there. CJ with Jackson.
I agree.
Same recruiting class. They were boys throughout the whole thing. I just think there's a bit of a connection there. I don't know. Could be wrong, but
100%. Let's also talk playoff scenario.
Okay. Yeah, we could talk. Okay.
For the loser. How do we both get in?
How we both get in. Okay. Let's just
some camaraderie.
How can we just be homers for the Big Ten? Okay.
USC has to lose.
USC, I think, has to lose.
Has to.
I don't think Clemson has to, though. I don't
either.
I think we get a pass. I think we get the bye over Clemson here.
I agree.
This is my one thought though. There's no way it'll happen. There's no way it'll happen. But if LSU beats Georgia, then they're both in.
Yeah.
I hate that LSU is still considered as a 2-loss team. I hate it, but I get it.
Team to ever get in.
They were above SC in the college football playoffs.
Yeah, they are.
Last night. That was ridiculous.
LSU's 5.
So here's how that would go. LSU wins. That means the winner of our game is number 1.
Yeah.
TCU remains undefeated is 2. That means LSU, 2-loss LSU has to go ahead of Georgia.
Yeah.
So LSU is going to be 3. And then Georgia, which means Michigan, Ohio State has to play fucking Georgia. which is ridiculous.
So
Or
we have fuck.
or
Get
Georgia
embarrassed
doesn't
round
get
one
in.
or in the Natty. Okay, so we can actually talk about this. So I got embarrassed by Alabama in the Natty. You guys got embarrassed in the first round by Georgia. Which one's worse? I would have to say the Natty because it's literally everybody watching. But I'll let you guys maybe debate that. But getting embarrassed in the Natty world's pretty fucking bad. But
Yeah.
I mean, you tell me. I mean,
But you're still in the national championship,
true.
you know?
Yes,
The one
but
thing
you
I will
first
say
round,
is
you shouldn't have been there. Like second round, if you're in the Natty, it's like, wow, like this team actually like could like
right.
and then you get embarrassed. It's like
the thing is also
Although expectation wise, if you win that first round game, you're going, oh my God, we're going to win the national championship or we have a shot.
yeah,
we
you
never
should've
got
seen what was going,
absolutely
and
soul
especially after
crushed by
being
an SEC
Clemson
team in the
getting over
national
that
championship.
hump.
it was like, all right, Michigan wasn't on the same like level as
Yeah, we were.
Fair. I do think though, one thing that's interesting is, are we kind of all on the opinion that TCU is just going to win out? Because
Yeah.
I've been thinking they're going to lose pretty much every week for the past 2 months now, and they've won every week. Off of
one
bullshit,
loss,
don't get me wrong, but they have won every week.
They've barely won every week. The last game was
Their
1
last
point
game
over
was
Baylor.
ridiculous. That walk-off
field
field
goal?
goal.
Ridiculous.
I-
And then the Texas game was
I
incredibly
would
close. It was a
arguably
disgusting game.
fire the coach for running a run play before the field goal. Should have just kicked it, and sure, there's
Yeah.
time on the clock,
That was
whatever.
Crazy.
But here's the thing: the Big 12 and the Pac-12 always implode on themselves. I can so see. I think TCU
every
plays
time.
Iowa State.
Oregon,
How
the other
hilarious
week.
would it be for
Oregon, the other
TCU to
week.
get absolutely smothered by Iowa
I
State?
expected UCLA to implode USC. Someone else.
Yeah,
will.
I really didn't think we were gonna be.
It's the only constant is the Pac-12 will implode upon itself every single year.
I just do think though TCU is somehow gonna get out of the Big 12, and I actually think the Big 12 is really, really, really hard to get through. Like all those teams seem very even to me. So the fact that TCU is actually undefeated, I don't know. I mean, they've had to play literally injured quarterbacks for a lot of those wins, but hey, we're not here to blame. But okay. Any closing thoughts?
I gotta run right now. Let's all give our score predictions.
Okay. Score predictions. Yeah, I'm gonna set the tone. I'll go first. I think it's gonna be 38-24.
I'm gonna go second.
Michigan?
No.
I'm gonna go second and go 42 Michigan, 27 Ohio State.
Oh my God.
I don't know why I came upon those numbers, but
Weird numbers. Here's the thing.
Oh wow.
I maybe don't think Michigan's gonna win. Maybe. I didn't say that. But if Michigan is gonna win, I think it's gonna have to be a lower scoring game. And it's gonna be 27-23 Michigan.
We're not going to score that many points. If we do win, it's going to be low scoring. We're not. It's with
Those are all field goals, baby. That's 9 field goals right there. Jake Moody, best player in college.
You don't know Jake Moody.
All right, I gotta go.
Jake Moody,
I'll see y'all on
all right,
Saturday.
9 field goals. You guys heard it. That's how Michigan wins this game. But that's gonna do it.